Imagine a company capable of influencing your salary, fuel prices, or even the speed at which you receive medical care, all with a single decision. This is not science fiction. It is the reality of a firm called BlackRock. Although many have never heard of it, BlackRock manages assets worth $10 trillion, more than the gross domestic product of nations like Japan or Germany. So, how did one company come to control such staggering sums? The answer is straightforward. BlackRock is the world's largest investment firm, tasked with managing the wealth of its clients, which include major corporations, pension funds, banks, and even governments. Its investment choices can sway the global economy, as billions poured into a particular sector can spur growth, while pulling out investments might trigger economic downturns in specific companies or entire countries. Consider the example of purchasing a new smartphone, such as an iPhone. Few realize that BlackRock owns shares in Apple, giving it the power to influence corporate decisions that ultimately affect the price consumers pay. Remarkably, BlackRock's influence extends across 80 countries, including the United States, China, and Europe. If it decides to withdraw investments from a country or company, the resulting economic shockwaves can be profound. BlackRock also plays a vital role in managing pension funds for many nations. In the United States, it controls the retirement savings of millions through funds like Vanguard and State Street. This means the financial security of future retirees largely depends on how BlackRock handles these assets. A poor decision or risky investments could impact pension levels significantly. Recently, BlackRock launched a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, a milestone for the cryptocurrency industry. This fund allows both large and small investors to buy into Bitcoin without directly owning the digital currency, making access to crypto much easier. Since its launch, the Bitcoin ETF has attracted substantial new capital into the market, with experts predicting it could drive further price increases as institutional interest grows. Many analysts link Bitcoin's recent surge to BlackRock's move, which has broadened the cryptocurrency's reach. But BlackRock's influence goes beyond managing assets. It effectively sets the rules for the global economy. Its decisions impact oil prices, stock market valuations, and even trigger economic crises. Can you imagine a single company capable of shaping worldwide financial processes? With $10 trillion under its control, BlackRock's power surpasses the annual economic output of most nations. BlackRock, a single financial giant, holds sway over the economies of no fewer than 80 countries, with its decisions capable of shaping national outcomes. This corporation manages pension funds for millions worldwide, directly affecting their financial futures. More than just an investment firm, BlackRock is a global power whose choices influence entire nations, markets, and countless individuals. Consider how its reach extends into government policies and legislation. By the end of this discussion, you'll understand the true extent of its influence and the identity of those behind major political decisions. Imagine a single company capable of determining whether prices for everyday goods rise, whether new technologies become accessible, or if entire markets like smartphones face upheaval. This is not a distant fantasy, but a real force wielded by BlackRock. Its influence spans the entire globe, transcending mere finances to encompass control over key corporations and even entire nations. For example, giants such as Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon serve billions of users daily. BlackRock owns substantial portions of their shares, granting it the power to sway decisions, whether to launch a new iPhone or alter Amazon's strategic direction. Essentially, it controls their futures and, by extension, the technological landscape we all depend on. But BlackRock's reach goes far beyond these tech titans. It holds stakes in countless companies worldwide, with some stock exchanges showing that up to 7% of all assets are owned by the firm. If BlackRock decided to sell these holdings, it could trigger a market crash. Its control over such a significant share of assets means a single move could reshape entire economic sectors. Many overlook that through subsidiaries like Aladdin, BlackRock doesn't just manage assets, it collects and analyzes vast amounts of financial data. This intelligence is used for forecasting and strategic planning, giving the firm even greater control over global economic trends. Aladdin assesses risks, predicts crises, and provides BlackRock with a distinct advantage in financial markets. In essence, BlackRock is an invisible player on the world's chessboard, influencing everything from markets and technology to commodities, oil, and real estate, any asset that can be bought or sold. By controlling major corporations such as Apple and Microsoft, it effectively determines the future of entire industries. Its ownership of up to 7% of assets on some stock markets grants it the power to steer national economies. Through its platform, Aladdin, BlackRock analyzes and monitors global financial data, further consolidating its influence over the world's economic order. Now, reflect on this. If such a firm wields this level of financial control, what impact might it have on political decisions and government policies? Stay with us to uncover who truly shapes laws in the interests of the world's wealthiest. Consider this. If an economic crisis were to strike, who would truly help your country recover? Many might assume it's the government or the central bank. But in reality, a different entity often takes center stage: BlackRock. This company, behind many critical decisions made by global leaders, steps into the spotlight during turbulent times. When nations face hardship, governments turn to BlackRock for assistance. For instance, in 2020, as the U.S. economy teetered on the brink due to well-known events, the Federal Reserve entrusted BlackRock with purchasing private company bonds totaling $750 billion. This staggering sum played a crucial role in rescuing some of the country's largest corporations. Essentially, when the state needed aid, it relied heavily on BlackRock's expertise. Even more striking is the company's involvement in Greece's severe financial crisis in 2010. The Greek government hired BlackRock to audit its banks and assess risks. The recommendations provided by BlackRock helped identify which banks required urgent support and which needed restructuring. These measures significantly influenced Greece's entire banking system and its ability to recover from the crisis. What's even more astonishing is that BlackRock doesn't merely assist. Its influence extends directly into shaping economic policies. It advises governments on managing funds, investment strategies, and economic reforms. This means that during critical moments, many government decisions hinge on BlackRock's guidance. After the 28,808 financial crisis, the company played a pivotal role in stabilizing U.S. banks, helping to develop rescue strategies for major institutions like Goldman Sachs and Bank of America. Without its involvement, the crisis could have worsened, leading to even deeper economic turmoil. BlackRock's reach doesn't stop there. In 2021, it entered into agreements with the European Securities and Markets Authority to advise on sustainable finance and green economies. The firm actively participates in shaping Europe's transition to clean technologies, influencing which projects receive funding. By 2023, it was revealed that BlackRock maintained influential offices within government agencies in countries such as Germany and France. This indicates that the company not only helps manage crises but also actively influences high-level political decisions. BlackRock advocates for its clients' interests and promotes legislation favorable to large corporations, often at the expense of ordinary citizens. Its role extends far beyond finance, impacting global politics, economics, and environmental policies. In 2020, BlackRock's assistance to the Federal Reserve in purchasing bonds worth $750 billion exemplified its central role in stabilizing the U.S. economy. This makes it a powerful, shadowy force shaping the world's financial and political landscape. BlackRock played a pivotal role in addressing Greece's banking crisis, assessing risks and contributing to the rescue of the nation's financial system. The firm maintains influential connections within the governments of major countries like Germany and France, enabling it to shape policies from within. This suggests that BlackRock is far more than a typical asset manager. It functions as a covert player on the global political stage. Its sway over government decisions is so profound that one might wonder who truly governs nations. Have you ever considered who actually writes the laws? Politicians, perhaps, but behind the scenes, even more powerful entities operate. Large corporations like BlackRock wield such influence that their representatives sit at the same tables as policymakers, helping craft decisions that impact millions worldwide. For example, BlackRock has representatives in the European Parliament, one of Europe's key legislative bodies. They promote laws that benefit large corporations rather than ordinary citizens. Imagine legislation shaping the lives of an entire continent, written in the interests of a small elite whose wealth reached billions in 2021. BlackRock became embroiled in a scandal in France when the government sought its advice on pension reforms. Public protests erupted as many French citizens doubted that BlackRock's recommendations would serve the common people. There was concern that pension reforms might lead to privatization of pension funds, increasing retirees' dependence on financial markets controlled by the firm. The population perceived this as an attempt to hand over their future to a corporation. Another lesser-known fact is that Larry Fink, BlackRock's CEO, is a regular participant at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where global leaders gather to discuss pressing issues. Behind closed doors, critical decisions are made that influence millions. Fink frequently meets with heads of state, including presidents of the United States and France, engaging in strategic discussions that shape international policies. These aren't mere formalities, but vital negotiations where corporations like BlackRock play a central role. An astonishing reality for many. Between 2015 and 2020, BlackRock spent over $80 million on lobbying efforts in the United States. These funds were directed toward influencing legislation that safeguarded the firm's interests and those of its clients. One key area was financial regulation. BlackRock's lobbyists opposed stricter rules for major investment firms, aiming to preserve their market freedom and maximize profits. The firm also exerts influence over environmental policies. While publicly claiming support for sustainable development, BlackRock simultaneously invests heavily in oil and gas companies. This dual stance highlights how the company's true priorities often lie elsewhere, balancing public statements with strategic financial interests. In essence, BlackRock's extensive political and economic influence underscores its position as a shadow power, shaping the policies and future of nations worldwide. This contradiction raises serious questions about whose interests are truly being served. In 2020, Activists accused BlackRock of lobbying for the relaxation of environmental standards across the United States and Europe. Despite promising to support green investments, the company's representatives wield influence within the European Parliament and other political institutions, pushing laws that favor corporate interests. Larry Fink, BlackRock's CEO, regularly participates in the World Economic Forum and meets with global leaders to discuss international solutions. The firm spends millions of dollars on lobbying efforts aimed at safeguarding its interests and maintaining control over financial markets. Although BlackRock claims to back ecological initiatives, it continues to invest heavily in traditional energy sources like oil and gas. Consequently, BlackRock exerts enormous influence over legislation and policy decisions, advancing the agenda of its clients, which often conflicts with the interests of ordinary citizens and global environmental goals. Imagine a corporation that not only manages vast sums of money, but effectively governs entire nations. Many remain unaware of its existence, yet it shapes market operations, influences lawmaking, and determines which countries emerge victorious from crises. This is BlackRock, a company some experts refer to as a shadow government. Why does it inspire such fear? In 2021, BlackRock actively lobbied to ease financial regulations in the United States, allowing itself and other major firms to continue risky investments with minimal government oversight. This influence over financial laws enables BlackRock to operate on its own terms, making the economy less secure for everyday people. Controlling trillions of dollars, BlackRock can direct vast flows of capital in any direction, wielding a power most are unaware of. Imagine a significant economic law being passed that impacts your life, affecting prices, pensions, taxes, yet you remain oblivious that it was crafted in the interests of a giant corporation. Experts warn that BlackRock makes decisions affecting billions behind the scenes, posing a real threat to national sovereignty and individual freedoms. Some call BlackRock the Black Hand of the global economy, a hidden puppeteer subtly pulling the strings to steer the world in its favor. Its influence extends beyond finance, shaping how we live, work, and think. Many believe BlackRock functions as part of a shadow government, operating behind the scenes to control global affairs without public awareness. Its reputation for secrecy and power has earned it the moniker Black Hand, as it guides the world's course from the shadows, far beyond mere financial manipulation. BlackRock plays a pivotal role in shaping global economic and political landscapes by controlling vast amounts of capital and information. Some experts warn that such influence poses a genuine threat to national sovereignty, as decisions made by this corporation could dramatically alter the course of world affairs. The core question remains: is BlackRock a new global power steering the world's future? Or is it merely a company risking the independence of entire nations for its own benefit? This debate continues to provoke discussion among analysts and policymakers alike.